Private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue.
That's just a little bit from Trump's speech yesterday. Again, my assessment to me, and I'm more convinced of it now than even 2.5 hours ago when I delivered my opening monologue. I thought it was a very powerful speech, a very high energy speech, a very strong speech, and clearly a very important speech. He is now setting the tone for what he expects next year. And he is taking on the Democrat media narrative that somehow he's to blame for the affordability crisis and that Trumponomics has failed. Trump is saying it's the exact opposite. Who created all this inflation? Biden and the Democrats. Who's fixing it? Me and my policies. And they are starting to work. Agree, disagree. 8:32 on the great WRKO. Jeff Cooner, liberalism's worst nightmare. Let's go back to our phone lines. Tanya in Boston. Thanks for holding, Tanya, and welcome.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Tanya.
So I want to make a comment because I think you brought this up a couple of weeks ago, and here we are again with the Republicans, a handful of them, not being confident. And the first thing I want to say to these Republicans that have this issue, they really need to watch the documentary of The Truth About Communists, narrated by Ronald Reagan in 1962. And it's on YouTube and it's free. Because after they watch that, they'll understand exactly where we were headed, because it talks about Lenin, it talks about Stalin, it talks about Marx, and it talks about how they made all these promises to the civilians. Meanwhile, they're doing all these backdoor deals with other countries trying to promote peace and all this crap. It was all just garbage. But then when their leaders, their people didn't agree with Stalin, didn't agree with him, he had them killed. So what is happening here now? We've got
Look, you put your finger right on it. I mean, Stalin was one of the great mass murderers, one of the most horrific mass murderers of the 20th century. He's up there with Hitler. There's no question, along with Mao, along with Lenin. This is what the left does. And I think people are forgetting now. In November 2024, we dodged, as a nation and as a people, we dodged a bullet. There's no other way, a communist bullet. That's what we dodged. And I hope we never forget that. And the Democrat Party hasn't changed. It is now, for all intents and purposes, a communist party. You can call it social democratic, democratic socialism, far left progressive. You can put whatever term you want on it. It's fundamentally now a Marxist communist party. And look, this is what Kamala Harris vowed to do. These was her explicit campaign promises, that she was going to continue to keep the border wide open. So we were going to get another 20 to 30 million illegals pouring in. That all the illegals were going to be given amnestio, which means not just that they would all become automatically American citizens and be legalized and be able to vote, which would guarantee a Democrat one-party regime for 100 years. But then they could all legally be on welfare. This alone would have financially bankrupted the United States, but she wasn't finished. The Green New Deal, check. Socialized medicine, check. A $25 an hour across the country national minimum wage, she would have wrecked the economy. She talked about, it was in her platform, the collectivization of agriculture. You speaking of Stalin, that's what Stalin did in Ukraine. And it starved to death 5 to 7 million Ukrainians and led to a chronic massive famine. By the way, Lenin did it as well. It led to a famine. Mao did it, it led to a famine. Castro did it, it led to a famine. Chavez and Maduro have done it in Venezuela, it led to a famine. Pol Pot in Cambodia, it led to a famine. Or mass hunger or mass starvation. When I saw that proposal that she put out saying she wants to collectivize agriculture, I said, this woman is bat, you know what, I can't say it, bat crap crazy.